Hey everyone,
Hello.
welcome back.
What is up?
Not much, how are you?
I'm good. It's springtime currently, and it's pleasantly warm.
Yeah, pretty
Which-
nice.
For me, is saying something because I hate hot weather. I love the cold, and I love being cold, and I love snow.
See, I hate all that stuff, and somehow we're able to make it work.
Yeah, but that's because I'm here to keep you warm, and you're fine with me having 100 fans on me.
That's true, And if you have 100 fans, I'm one of them.
Aww.
Yeah, cute.
Anyway, this is My Thing, Your Thing.
My thing, your thing.
My name is Hannah,
My name is Donovan.
and today we're talking about...
You only live twice.
I don't know that that's fundamentally true, but...
Yeah. No, it's once again another James Bond title that is sort of a play on an idiomatic phrase.
Sure.
Which I sort of made a point of in the Goldfinger episode after you asked about it.
Yes.
This one is a fun one. It's maybe not the best one, but it's a fun one. You Only Live Twice is where James Bond goes to Japan.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a couple of quick background notes about this movie before we dive in. So, You Only Live Twice, kind of hilariously, was only one of 2 James Bond movies to be made in 1967, to be released in 1967.
Wait, there was a second James Bond movie that came out in 1967?
There was.
What was it?
It was Casino Royale.
Oh.
So, as I mentioned kind of during the Thunderball episode, Casino Royale, the first James Bond book, the rights to it were sold separate from the rest of them. It was sold to make a television special. So there was a 1-hour Casino Royale television special that aired on American television, where James Bond was an American agent and Felix Leiter was a British one. They they flipped it around. Yeah, and it was only an hour. It wasn't like a full movie. People apparently liked it, but apparently they spent a few minutes of it explaining how Baccarat worked. But this came out in the 50s.
Oh, that would actually be helpful because I don't understand anything about how Baccarat works.
Neither do I. We're American. It's for the European mind to comprehend.
Yeah, there's a man there with a giant paddle, and that's all that I know.
Yeah, it's a yaoi paddle, and now you know that I know a yaoi paddle exists. Congratulations. So
Wait, okay, so this one it was like a made-for-TV movie
yes,
kind of
this
thing.
came out in the 50s, though.
Okay.
In 1967, a movie was released by Columbia Pictures, because Columbia Pictures bought the movie rights for Casino Royale.
The movie rights for the TV version of
Yes.
Casino Royale.
Yes.
Good lord.
So, they decided to release a movie and to kind of compete with the other James Bond movies, something that we already know that they have been worried about.
Yeah, because that works so well. Everybody is a huge fan of Transmorphers.
Yeah. Wait, was there a Transformers thing that...
Yeah, Transmorphers was the
Asylum version. Yeah. I mean, unlike Asylum, this was Columbia Pictures. This is a big movie studio.
That's true. I guess it's Ants versus A Bug's Life then.
Yeah, that's probably a better one. Except this one was actually more of a parody of spy films in general. So it was kind of a joke. Like, it was sort of meant to not be taken seriously.
Sure.
But they had,
more explicitly, because that was a thing that people were saying of James Bond at the time, that it's like a parody or like a pastiche or a satire.
Yes.
Of action and spy stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of exactly what it was, whereas this was sort of very explicitly tongue-in-cheek making fun of specifically James Bond, which was kind of a big deal at this point.
Sorry, hang on. We buy your thing, and then we're going to force your reanimated corpse to make fun of you.
Yeah. This movie did pretty well. It made some money. I have to imagine a certain amount of it on the back of the fact that people were like, wait a minute, what? This is James Bond?
Yeah. Casino Royale, that sounds like a James Bond property. I love James Bond. Let's go.
And it had some really big-name actors and actresses in it. It had Peter Sellers. It had David Niven. It had Orson Welles. It had Woody Allen. And it had Ursula Andress, who played Honey Rider in the first James Bond.
Dang, what?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't want to interrupt your flow there, but I was just like, I was like, what?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, and also all the characters had the same names as the characters. There was a Miss Moneypenny in there. There was a bunch of them. But things were totally different, and the plot was totally different. And in fact, something is introduced in this parody film that I think is really interesting. I'm going to read the plot summary to you, at least part of it. And you tell me if you see the same thing that I do.
Sure.
So this is the plot synopsis on Wikipedia. Sir James Bond, 007, a legendary British spy who has been retired for 20 years, is visited by M, the head of British MI6, as well as the CIA operative, a KGB operative, and the French spy agency operative. And the four of them implore Bond to come out of retirement to deal with SMERSH, which is basically like Soviet counterintelligence sort of thing.
Sure, okay.
They've been eliminating agents, but Bond refuses, as well as chastising M for continuing to use his name for other field agents.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Confirmation of the James Bond 007 as a name.
But this is wild, because this is before Sean Connery leaves.
There's only been the one James Bond.
This is being introduced in 1967.
Yeah.
And not even by the main thing. It's completely wild. I'm kind of shocked that, people never bring this up. It's really odd to me.
Can you see this made for TV? Or no, this is like a regular movie. The other 67 one?
Yeah, you can. It's out there. Yeah, you can absolutely still watch it.
It's not part of our collection?
No, it is not.
We should see if we can get our hands on that and watch it.
Maybe so.
Like at the end.
What I just think is funny, though, is that Orson Welles plays Le Chiffre, and in the Daniel Craig 2005 Casino Royale, that is Mads Mikkelsen. And I don't know if I can think of two actors who are more different than Orson Welles and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Ah, the French.
Oh, the French.
Anywho.
I don't know. Orson Welles, when he was younger, he could kind of get it.
Yeah, he could get it. I mean, yeah, he could get it. Anyway.
Anywho's will be.
So back to You Only Live Twice. Eon, Saltzman and Broccoli, they wanted to make On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which they had been considering making since the third movie. The problem that kind of stopped it when they tried to do it for the third movie is kind of the same problem that was stopping them this time. They couldn't really get the locations right. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, that's the next movie. It takes place in Switzerland, in the tops of mountains and stuff. So
that'd be difficult to film there.
It's a very different kind of thing. So they were like, well, we can't get the location. What are we going to do? Thunderball, as we mentioned, was the most successful Bond film so far. In fact, adjusting for inflation, it's the most successful Bond film ever. It made so much freaking money. So for this movie, the budget ballooned to $10 million.
Wow.
Which is the same as Thunderball and Goldfinger combined.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money to make a movie. They tried to bring back Terrence Young, the director, for the first two as well as Thunderball. They hired him. He started to work on the movie, but he had some creative differences, and so he left the project. And they brought in a new director named Lewis Gilbert. Lewis Gilbert was kind of already contracted to do work with United Artists, which was the distributor, and so he just kind of jumped onto this project, and he was not really this kind of filmmaker. He was not known for making
spy action movies.
He was known for making character dramas. It was a very different kind of director.
Okay, that could be fun.
It could be. He also brought in his own editor. However, her cut of the movie was 3 hours long, and people did not like it in tests, so they actually got a guy named Peter Hunt, who was the editor for the first 4 films.
Hey, his initial editor, was that his wife?
No, I don't believe so.
Because that was a thing that happened a lot in early Hollywood, of the editor would just be the director's wife.
It's interesting, but in this case, I don't believe so. Keep the name of Peter Hunt, the editor for this film. He's also the second unit director. Keep it in mind, because we're going to hear from him again pretty soon. The writer for the first Bond films, as well as for a bunch more in the future, Richard Maybaum, he was unavailable for this one. So they wanted to find somebody else to write the screenplay. You might have heard of this guy.
Yeah?
His name is Roald Dahl.
What?
Yeah.
What?
That is correct. Roald Dahl was a personal friend of Ian Fleming's, and he wanted to write a screenplay for James Bond.
I cannot think of two people whose work diverge more than Ian Fleming and Roald Dahl.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah. To start with, yes, that's very weird.
Roald Dahl had said several times that he thought You Only Live Twice was Fleming's worst book.
Oh, no.
So this movie has pretty much nothing to do with the story.
book.
It takes place in Japan,
Uh-huh.
and that's about where it ends. Also, fun fact, You Only Live Twice was the last James Bond novel to be published before Ian Fleming died in 1964.
Oh.
Yes.
How many were published after he died?
There was one more novel and then a couple of collections of short stories.
Oh, okay.
Roald Dahl also wrote the screenplay for Chitty Chitty Bang Bang!
Hell yeah! Oh, delightful.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad that we brought that one back.
Me too. We might have to watch Chitty Chitty Bang Bang for the podcast after we're done with the Bond movies.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, they largely filmed it in Japan. They did a lot of interior set stuff in Pinewood Studios in Britain, but pretty much everything else they actually filmed in Japan. The production company, they wanted to do it upright. They did a ton of location scouting, and they wanted to get like a feel for like the Japanese like aesthetic. I was gonna say for the culture, but I think they thought they were trying to get a feel for the culture, but no, they really weren't.
Yeah, I would bet. Like, I can bet that they're doing a lot of aesthetic stuff. Like, they're picking colors and shapes that remind people of Japanese stuff, but they're not actually, like, you know, if you ask them, I don't know, who was the shogunate in the Meiji era, they'd look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Aha, trick question. There was no shogun in the Meiji era.
Yeah.
That's your history fact for the day. Way to go.
Dang, did learn something, huh?
They got help for doing some of this stuff by Toho Studios. So Toho Studios was famous for a long-running Japanese film series that we might do later on in the show.
Oh, that's why I know them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They're known for Godzilla.
Godzilla.
That, my friends, is what we call foreshadowing. Anyway, Toho provided a lot of like sound stages and personnel. In fact, the two main Japanese actresses in the film were Toho stars. They were actually like,
oh, interesting.
You know, being borrowed essentially to do that. While they were doing scouting for the film, there was actually a really scary close call. They were due to get on a flight back to Europe, but they decided to stay because they wanted to see a ninja demonstration. There was going to be a ninja demonstration.
Ooh, fun.
So they stayed.
I mean, yeah, I'd miss a flight for that too.
That flight crashed and everyone on board was killed.
Jeez, pizza.
So that would have been Ken Adams, the production designer, Saltzman, Broccoli, I believe the director. That would have been a lot of people involved in this movie. That sucks. They made it out, though.
Wow, that's a diverging timelines kind of thing.
It's very odd, and it's kind of scary to think about. They obviously got Sean Connery back, although he is done.
Yeah, at this point he's very tired.
He basically didn't want to do it, but he was still signed on for one more film. He actually announced during filming that he was done, not even like afterwards or waiting. Like he said, "This is the last one I'm in. Period. End of story. I don't want to do this anymore." And he was not on speaking terms with the producers during the filming.
This is like the last one he's contracted for, right?
Yeah, he was signed a 5-movie deal, and this is the 5th one. So he's
like not breaking contract. He's like, I'm just not doing this anymore.
Yeah, he's absolutely done. The main villain of this one is once again going to be Blofeld, and for once again we're going to have a third different actor playing Blofeld. But this time, it's my favorite actor who plays Blofeld, Donald Pleasance. Do you know Donald Pleasance?
The name is very familiar.
It should be. He's been in literally fucking everything.
Oh, really?
He's in a Twilight Zone episode. He's in a Columbo episode. He hosted SNL once. He was in Fantastic Voyage. He was in The Great Escape. He was in All Quiet on the Western Front. He was the president in Escape from New York. Horror film fans might know him as Dr. Loomis in Halloween, the Halloween series.
Oh.
He is super famous. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but like, he's really good. I'm a huge Donald Pleasance fan. Does a great job. Big fan. The song for the intro was once again written by John Barry. You Only Live Twice. They tried to get Frank Sinatra to sing this one, but he passed on it. He kind of didn't want to do it.
Well, yeah, they made Tony Robbins pass out with the last one. I don't think that he's that interested in doing this.
Tom Jones.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
So they couldn't get Frank, but they got Nancy Sinatra. So Nancy Sinatra sings this one. And it's pretty good. It's actually a pretty solid one. We're going to get some bad ones here really soon, but we've got some really good ones for the next few movies, at least. Mm-hmm. But we'll get to some bad ones. In general, I think I told you this before, this film is not generally considered one of the better ones, but as a kid, this was my favorite. Like,
something
about the ninjas and like Japan and all the stuff in this movie I remember as a kid really, really liking. But fans are kind of conflicted about this one. It's probably the least liked generally of the 5 that we've seen.
Were you a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies when you were a child?
I actually wasn't.
Okay.
I kind of missed the time frame. Like, by the time I was old enough to sort of watch that, like, they had sort of, I wouldn't say they were out of the cultural consciousness, but they were not as popular as they had been a few years before. I was a fan of Power Rangers, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
So and also anime, Dragon Ball Z was really big when I was a kid, so I did have some, like, martial arts Japan-esque kind of stuff in there.
Because I was just thinking that, like, most generations of children have some sort of, like, ninja touch point.
Yeah.
If it is, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or, I guess, this. I'm trying to figure out what mine would have been.
Samurai Pizza Cats?
No. No, it was not Samurai Pizza Cats, in fact.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. I definitely remember liking stuff, like, that had ninjas in it, but I can't think of anything at the moment.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat?
No, my parents wouldn't let me play Mortal Kombat. It was too violent.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I was not allowed to have a gaming console until I was in high school.
Hannah, you had a very sad childhood.
It's not sad. I played outside a lot, and then I became a weird recluse in my older years, so,
Yeah, that's...
Good job, Mom.
That's about right.
Yeah.
Any whoozleby.
I read so much as a child. Yeah. Any whoozleby.
Let's watch this movie, and then we will be right back to talk about it.
Ba-da-ba-da.
It's such a sunny day, such a sunny day, such a sunny day away.
We are back.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Hannah, I still really like that one.
I think it's the most fun, despite all of the racism and sexism and sexist racism
and racist sexism. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I really think if you just don't have the bath scene, it's about 50% better, and if you don't do the yellow face, it's about 100% better. Like, that's really the only 2 parts that really suck.
Especially because there's no reason for the yellow face. Like, there's just straight up.
Yeah.
Like,
I was saying he doesn't.
He was wearing a hat anyway.
Yeah, it's. I sort of made the joke while we were watching it. I'm like, it is yellow face. Like, it is bad, but it's sort of done so badly and so ineffectively that it almost isn't offensive. He looks like a Romulan from Star Trek. Like, he doesn't look like he's even trying to be Asian, really.
Yeah, it's not exactly like John Wayne and Genghis Khan or anything like that.
Yeah, it's pretty mediocre of a job, I'm gonna say.
It's still bad. It's still bad.
Yeah, it's still bad. Don't get me wrong.
Don't do yellow face.
I'm not a fan of it, and I wish they hadn't. But it's so weird.
Again, they didn't even really need to do that because they were doing it so that he wouldn't draw attention as he was going to like some small fishing village, but like allegedly he already speaks pretty good Japanese, and he was wearing a hat and like hunched over the whole time. So like if no one's looking at his face, why the goddamn hell would it matter?
Yeah, they could have done that so many other different ways that would have been less offensive. It would have been not as bad. But anyway,
I guess they needed it for like the marriage scene, but I don't know why that had to be a public thing.
I really feel like stuff like that they were trying to show like Japanese culture. They were really trying to be like, Japan, but like it wasn't necessary.
Well, it wasn't necessary, and I have to assume not actually accurate too. Like, I don't know a whole lot about Japanese culture, but like that doesn't feel like a very faithful representation.
No, it doesn't. However, I think if you sort of skip those things and you say, because they're not really that necessary, you sort of get over like
you could certainly take this movie and edit it and then make a better movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing, so much of the movie is really good, and
Yep.
The action sequences are a lot of fun.
Yes.
The
helicopter chase is great.
It's great. Yeah, the gadgets are really cool. The pacing is solid.
Well, gadget because it's kind of just that. Well, no, he also had the
he has the
cigarette
helicopter.
thing. Yeah, the helicopter. And I was gonna say gadget because he's only got the helicopter, but he does have the cigarette as well.
He also has the cigarette. Yeah.
Did he at one point Tiger showed him that like the rocket gun? Did he use the rocket gun?
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
they used the rocket gun in the fight. Like,
sure, yeah, they were like
the crater.
Yeah, some of his ninjas were using the rocket guns.
Yeah, I really like that, and I really like the visuals of this movie. Like,
oh yeah,
Ken Adam absolutely pops off in this film. So much of the classic Bond like look of the villain layers and stuff like that. Like, that is just this movie. That's where they're getting it from.
Should we give a plot synopsis or at least a real quick summary?
Yes, we absolutely should.
Go ahead.
So, the beginning of the movie starts. The cold open is
they kill an astronaut.
Yes, we are seeing a NASA spacecraft is flying around, and another spacecraft like eats it basically.
Yeah.
It's like, and then one astronaut who's on an EVA, so he's outside of it, just gets yeeted into space. And it's pretty brutal. Like, wow, holy crap. Yeah, kind of scary.
Uncomfortable to think about, certainly.
Yep. And then, as it turns out, there's a whole thing about, it's the Americans think it's the Soviets. And the Soviets are like, wasn't us.
Yeah.
And the Brits are like, we don't know for sure who it is, but we've got somebody on the case.
Us, the even-keeled Brits, are not going to immediately point fingers at anybody. We're going to consider the options.
Yeah, that's very much their, how they sort of present themselves. And so then we see James Bond in Hong Kong in flagrante with this
as he often is,
and he dies.
Oh yeah, he gets
he gets murdered.
Great. He's just like in this bed with this girl, and first of all, he says, "Why do Chinese girls taste different?" Ew.
Yeah.
So he says, "Why do Chinese girls taste different?" And then he like compares.
Gross.
I don't know. They somehow end up on like Peking duck, and she's like, "I'll make you great Peking duck." And then she pushes a button, and like the bed Murphy's up into the wall, and like two guys with machine guns come in and like blast away at him.
Yeah, they shoot him, and he dies. And there's bullets and guns and blood, and the British police come in, and they're like, "Yep, he's dead." And then the title credits happen.
Super dead for realsies.
Yeah, and
don't even think about the fact that we did this double thing last time.
Yeah,
either.
we've done the fake death thing before.
Don't even worry about it. Don't think about it. He's definitely dead this time.
So the next scene, we see his funeral. After the title credits, they dump him in the water, and then we see a bunch of divers come and pull him into a submarine. And it turns out he's just in there in a scuba suit. He's in his uniform and everything. He's fine. He's fine. Don't worry about it. And then he goes onto the ship, and I love it because he gets on the ship, and Moneypenny and M are in there like they are in their normal office.
Yes,
but they're like. It's obviously a submarine, and they're in their sailing uniforms,
yes.
which I think is great. It's just another day.
Moneypenny brought the hat stand with her, and then also she has two pictures of flowers on the wall behind her. She's like, "God damn it, I may be on a submarine with a bunch of horrible Navy dudes, but I'm going to bring some feminine touches if it fucking kills me."
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun in here. So then he goes to a sumo tournament, so you get a little more Japanese culture.
He's given his assignment.
He's got to meet a guy named Henderson, and he's got to tell him that he loves him.
Yeah, the sign countersign is just "I love you."
Mm-hmm. And he talks to this Mr. Henderson guy who tells him about a couple of the things going on and how he feels about it, and then that guy dies. He gets stabbed through a paper wall.
And he just stops in the middle of a sentence, and there's not even a sound effect or anything. There's no and then he got stabbed. He just and then and then Bond chases that guy down and steals his clothes.
And then jumps into the car that was supposed to take him back to headquarters, which is how he finds about Osato Chemicals. And Osato Chemicals are the evil industrialists that are supporting the bad guys in this movie.
Because reasons.
Yeah, because reasons. I'm sure they're set to make lots and lots of money.
Yeah, in the coming war, they're like, we're going to make a bunch of money selling our synthetic turpentine and monosodium glutamate.
to be fair, they were selling like stuff for rocket fuel. That was part of what they were doing.
That's fair.
Yeah, he fights a henchman in the office. It's a great fight scene.
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fun little turns in that scene.
He like burst through a wall. Like he gets thrown through a paper wall, and then as he's leaving, he like dips through the same hole in the wall, even though it would take like one step to go around it.
It's a great little visual gag. There's a lot of little, like great little visual gags throughout the whole movie. It's one thing I really appreciate. Kind of, surprised, that's something that other James Bond movies have done, but I think Lewis Gilbert, this wasn't his thing, but I think he watched all those James Bond movies and was like, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And he did a great job.
This was also, not to get too off topic of like, but this was like the most punny and like the most like joke. There's so many like one-liners in this one.
They really brought that up to 11 on this one. They
I
really
wrote
did.
down like 3 of them, and then I was like, I can't keep doing this because it would be like every other line.
Totally. So then he arranges a meeting with the head of Osato Chemicals, Mr. Osato. So he goes back to the exact same office the next day, but this time undercover. He's Mr. Fisher. And he's like, oh, I just want to buy chemicals from you and manufacture them. And he's like, okay, sure. And then as he leaves, he just turns to his assistant, who we learn later is Spectre number 11, the assassin, and is just like, kill him.
There's also like he's sitting in that chair, and the guy, the Osato guy, like has
an X-ray,
so he can like see that he's got a gun on him.
Yeah.
And I don't know how X-rays work, but I know that they don't work like that.
No, there's a lot of little moments in this movie where, there's a part later on where he's in a car and he sees the helicopter carrying this other car that was chasing them, and he's seeing it from above, and I'm like, wait a minute, who's in the movie, who's filming the helicopter holding up the car?
Yeah,
like, it doesn't make any sense.
He's seeing the movie shot, not a shot that would be from the inside of the helicopter.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, he met Tiger Tanaka, the head of Japanese intelligence in the previous scene. That was how he got the meeting arranged with Mr. Osato. So he met the head of Japanese intelligence, Tiger Tanaka. That's how he got the meeting with Osato. And he met him because he's got an agent named Aki, and he's sort of like run into her a couple of times so far in the movie, like at the sumo, and then also like drove him around, helped him escape from the chemical plant. So she's kind of playing like a game with him. There's kind of a playfulness with the two of them.
Yeah. She's clearly a little bit into him.
Yeah, he and her go to. They find the ship that is going to the place that they were able to figure out that all these shipments are going to.
Yeah.
Which is out on an island in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Oh, yeah, he finds, like, a photo negative that he took out of the safe at Osato, and they, like, immediately blow it up. You don't even have to worry about any of, like, the photo processing. And it's a picture of a cave, and they, like, find the cave.
Yeah, they see the coastline, and they're able to figure out. They also see the ship, the name of the ship.
Oh, yeah.
And the shipping company is a subsidiary of Osato, so you got that all figured out. That works pretty well, actually. Obviously, the sci-fi elements are kind of fantastical, but, like, the plot works. Like, it's like, yes, we did this, and it led to this, and it led to this, and I think that's one of the benefits of this movie. It's not like Thunderball, where everything happens by accident, or like Goldfinger, where if you actually think about it, nothing actually makes any sense. Mm-hmm. The plot lines actually kind of follow. Maybe that's Roald Dahl. Hey, good job, Roald Dahl.
Good job, Roald Dahl.
You were able to make that a coherent plot. He helps Aki escape from the ship, but he gets captured by number 11, the assistant lady, and basically she's kind of this movie's femme fatale,
trying to be, although like who she is, what she wants, what her motivations are, it's really not explored.
No.
Like the most that we know about her is that she's got nice dresses and she has a bunch of scalpels.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of it.
I get the idea that she works for Spectre. She's sort of like the, she's pretending to work for the Osato company, but she's basically keeping tabs on Osato. She's like the liaison.
Sure.
Essentially. Maybe the fixer for him. Yeah, she for a moment seems like she's going to do the Pussy Galore thing where she switches sides and helps him, but then she gets in the plane, blows it up, and then jumps out, and then he's got to deal with a blown up plane.
Plane on the verge of blowing up as he's like trapped
and then
there.
He crashes it and somehow gets out before it explodes. It's very odd, but it's kind of a fun bit.
Yeah, okay. Again, she's just kind of like there. She's not really like, a whole person. She's just kind of there.
She's a henchman. She's
a hench.
She's really just kind of a sidekick. She's not really there to like. She's there to fulfill a function. After that, James Bond gets his autogyro, his helicopter.
Oh, yeah, little Nelly.
Delivered to him in a great scene with Q. Every scene with Q is great. Desmond Llewellyn is so funny. Now pay attention. Just every single time.
Just him constantly berating James Bond of being like, stop blowing up my stuff. Be kind to my equipment. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
You dumb child.
It's really good. So he takes the plane, or not the plane, the helicopter. He flies over the island. He can't see anything, but other helicopters get him, so he kind of knows he's on the right trail.
Yeah, he's got like one dinky little helicopter, and then there are 4 helicopters like flying after him. And I think this is where a lot of the budget goes.
Yeah.
Because there's like a really great like aerial fight, and he
Yes.
uses all of the stuff in like the little helicopter that he's in.
Yeah.
But there are 4 of those big guys, and like I don't know that I believe that he would have come out.
Yeah,
one.
you sort of have to believe that he's got the better, helicopter, special fancy one, and that he's just like a really good pilot. On top of being a martial artist, on top of being a crack shot, on top of being a naval commander, you have to, and also like the best lay in the United Kingdom. Like you have to believe that he's all of those things.
And coming in first in Oriental language at Cambridge.
Yeah, no,
a real line that he said. I just want to bring up really quickly. I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak any amount of Japanese, but I do remember I watched a video one time of this guy who like is an American guy who manages a Japanese like idol group, and he was talking about how like he started learning Japanese in middle school, and then when he was old enough he moved to Japan, and he's like, I've been studying and learning and speaking Japanese for 20 years of my life, and I still fuck up every single day.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way that like one course at Cambridge got you like fluent in Japanese. Absolutely not.
I don't think he's fluent, but he's serviceable.
Sure.
I know that's the thing with people who work in intelligence. It's like you don't necessarily, unless you're like going undercover, you don't have to be fluent. You could just be like, look, if you just know it, like that's very helpful.
Yeah.
Anyway, he flies to Himeji Castle. He flies to an old famous castle in Japan after he goes over this, and Tiger Tanaka is training ninjas there.
He's got like a whole army
of ninjas, and they're amazing, and they're very fun, and they're having lots of like battles and mock battles and training exercises. They're throwing ninja stars. It's pretty amazing.
It's great.
It's a great little scene. At this point, we are introduced to the idea that we have to disguise James Bond as a Japanese person to get him on the island, which I don't really think... Like, I get why the plot wants us to think that that's the way to do it. I think there are other ways they could have done it.
They could. He's already proven that he can successfully infiltrate at least the back of a car and fool one guy if he's just wearing a hat and has a mask on, like a cloth mask on for... if he's got a cough or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just do that. Just wear the hat and the mask.
Yeah, it's not terribly necessary. While he is doing this training, Aki, the agent that he's worked with, who is very, like, they've already had sex. Like, they're already into each other.
She's very flirty with him.
Yeah.
And at one point, like, Tiger says something about, like, some girl in China. And she's like, he would never have sex with that horrible woman. She's terrible and dirty. And James Bond is like, yeah, no, I certainly didn't.
Yeah. She's great. And unfortunately, a guy sneaks in to try and kill James Bond and ends up killing her by dripping poison down like a thread, which is a really cool idea. It's a very neat scene.
Yes.
But it's very sad. And then, like,
I mean, it's sad for us, the audience. James Bond has no emotional affect whatsoever.
it does not seem like he is actually affected. He's like kind of upset in the moment, but then 2 days later, he's marrying another chick who's like, and he's trying to sleep with her.
Yeah, he's like, why aren't we having a honeymoon? Guy, you just slept, like, the last girl that you slept with just died 2 days ago.
Yeah, so he's got to pretend to
48 whole hours.
He's got to pretend to get married to this next agent.
And they keep saying that she's got, like, the face of a pig, and it's very rude. What
Yeah,
the
it's
fuck?
like she's got the face of a pig, and she's actually, like, beautiful. Of course she is, but...
And, like, not only that, but there were, like, 2 other women who walked up first, and, like, those were other women who were, like, marrying someone else the same time at the same day, and, like, they kept, like, wincing at the way that they looked, and they're normal-ass Japanese ladies.
They look maybe a little older, which
Yeah.
was, like, probably Sean Connery's age, like, about 40 or whatever.
Sure.
It's pretty... It's pretty bad, but it works. they get on the island, and she's a local, so like that kind of helps ingratiate them like into the community.
Yeah, she's already got a house there.
Which would maybe matter if literally that night they do the thing. Like they're supposed to have a week or something, or 4 days until the Americans launch the satellite that's going to cause the next sort of phase of the plan that's going to make America and the Soviet Union have a nuclear war with each other. But then the
that is the plan. That is Blofeld's plan.
Yeah. But then that night they're like, we're moving up the launch. By the way, you can't do that. You can't just be like, we're moving up the launch 3 days.
Also, like, okay, if there were tensions this high between the U.S. and Russia, and like the U.S. has already lost a shuttle and Russia has also lost a shuttle, I have to assume that NASA's going to be like, no, we're not launching anything for a while. Do you know how much fucking money we pay for these things?
Yeah.
We're not losing another goddamn one of these.
It's really dangerous.
It's really, like, NASA does not like when their stuff goes wrong.
Yeah,
They over-engineer stuff so bad that they don't want anything to go wrong. So I cannot believe that anybody was like, yes, this is a good idea for us to launch this motherfucker.
Yeah. But he and the new girl, they don't really say her name in the movie. Like, you don't really ever hear it.
Yeah, you don't, do you?
Yeah. Her name is Kissy Suzuki.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's the character's name, right?
That's the character's
Good
name.
Good Lord.
Yeah. The two of them scout the island. They find a cave where there's like poison gas that kills anybody who tries to go in.
Oh, yeah, because there is that like dead fisherman lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how they realize that it's the volcano.
They get there like the first day that they get there, and there's like a funeral procession going by, and like Kissy Suzuki talks to one of the people. And then like the woman like tells her what happened, but then she's an agent and she does not relay that information.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's bad. I mean, I guess if she's like a junior agent, this is like her first field mission. Somewhat forgivable, but
sure, something like that. But anyway, he sneaks in because he realizes that the place that the rockets launch from is like inside the volcano, and the like caldera water thing is actually like a metal like screen.
Yeah,
it's not actually there. It's kind of a cool.
It's a cool camouflage.
Yeah. It works really well. And Bond sneaks in. He frees the captured American and Soviet astronauts who help him put on the astronaut suit, and it looks like he's going to go into space for a minute to be on the ship that's going to like get the next American mission.
I'm so confused what his plan was once he was in outer space.
I think his plan was to, as the astronaut in the thing, prevent it from being able to take over the American capsule. Like, I think that was the idea.
Okay, I'm also confused about what astronauts are where when, because was the other astronaut who's about to go into Blofeld's capsule, was that guy one of Blofeld's men, or was that one of the captured guys?
That was one of Blofeld's men, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He had the two and then the reserve one.
Yeah.
And so Bond is about to get on, and he makes a mistake. He puts his air conditioner on, which apparently no astronaut would ever do.
Yeah, it's like Inglourious Bastards, like the three finger thing.
Yeah, it's a little shibboleth moment there. And then Blofeld is like, that astronaut, bring him here.
Bring him here.
And he's like, he just immediately knows it's James Bond. He's just like, you made a mistake.
There's only one person who could have gotten close to fooling me.
And then that's the first time we ever see Blofeld's face. Played by Donald Pleasance.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the scar in his face. It's basically what Dr. Evil in Austin Powers was trying to emulate.
Oh, yeah.
We see him for the first time. It seems like everything's going well for them, but then all of Tanaka's ninjas show up. They attack the base, and they get in, and that gives Bond an opening to sort of foil the plot. He blows up the Spectre space capsule that's going to capture the Americans, and then he fights a henchman, kicks him into a big pond with piranhas, which we've already seen Blofeld kill two of his henchmen with now.
That's how he killed 11.
That's how he killed 11, yeah, because she failed to kill James Bond, and so she gets dropped on like a lever into the piranha pond. That's not how piranhas work, y'all.
That's not how piranhas work. It's not how piranhas work unless piranhas are like literally starving. And, like, it still would take longer than 30 seconds to eat a man down to the bone. Also, hey, Blowfield, take better care of your fucking Piranha River, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
You have... That water is green. That is, like, industrial agriculture runoff water. Your fucking piranhas aren't living through that. They need much better water parameters than whatever the fuck this nonsense is. Do a goddamn water change. You have 1 million henchmen.
Yeah.
Get one of them on your fucking filters, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so... You don't even see the piranhas. I'm sure there are no actual piranhas. Like, on set, there were
Yeah.
not any actual piranhas, but I'm so mad about this.
They blow up the base.
Everything gets blown up.
Everyone gets blown up. The astronauts seemingly get blown up. Blofeld seemingly gets blown up. He doesn't. He comes back in the next movie.
Thousands
Spoiler.
of henchmen die.
Thousands
on
of
both sides.
henchmen die. Thousands of ninjas die. But Bond and the girl get out, and they get on a little dinghy. And then the submarine comes up underneath them and lifts the dinghy up. And there's a great little scene at the end where M goes to Miss Moneypenny, is just like, "Oh, go up there and tell Bond to come down." And she's like, "I would be delighted." You know, it's just just a funny little dumb moment. This is one's good. I like this one.
Okay, I had fun with this one.
Yeah.
There definitely also were, like, the most things where I was like, oh, I've seen that in something else.
Yes.
Like, when he gets loaded up into, like, the torpedo and shot out.
Yeah.
That happens to Brock Simpson in Venture Brothers.
Yes.
The whole, like, first of all, huge props to Ken Adams for all of the set designs. God, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But, like, specifically, like, the Blowfield's, his office with the little, like, bridge over the piranha water, that is in Venture Bros. That's, like, Scaramantula's hideout layer thing.
Yeah.
Which also blows up in the same way, basically. It's, God, it's so good.
The Simpsons Hank Scorpio thing,
Hank
where
Scorpio,
all the guys come down, you know, that's exactly how it is. Having the lair in the volcano.
Yes.
What a great idea. You know, how do you build a set like that? Apparently that was a full set. It was a working helicopter port. They actually landed helicopters.
That is so wild.
That's a completely insane thing to do. And I mean, that's the $10 million budget right there. They were spending money on this movie, and it comes through. Visually, it looks great. You know, the scenes where they're in Tokyo, some of those car chase scenes, you know, you see a lot of Tokyo, you see a little bit of Hong Kong. Very colorful, very visual. Yeah. Really great moments there. The action sequences are well done. There's a few kind of bad special effects, but, you know, like, for the time, really good. You know, I really have very few complaints about any of those kinds of things.
I've got a couple.
Oh, yeah?
James Bond goes to Tiger's house, and Tiger says, my house is yours, including all of my possessions, and then 4 women walk into the room because he owns those ladies.
That's not a special effect, but yeah, no.
And
ew.
James Bond can use those possessions of his. Gross.
Yeah.
Also, like, he's basically like, hey, pick one of these ladies to have sex with, and James Bond is like, I'll pick this one, and he says, she's very sexiful.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And, like, Tanaka says, here in Japan, men come first and women come second, which is just like...
Ugh.
All right, like...
Gross.
We get it.
Also, like, this is such a small nit to pick, but, like, it's something that's bothering me.
Yeah.
Is that when Eleven has him in the plane and they're, like, flying off and she's gonna crash the plane and kill him, she, like, pulls out this lipstick and pretends to put lipstick on, and then... when like this is like the moment that she turns, is like, haha, I tricked you, I'm not going on your side, and she like drops the lipstick and the lipstick explodes, and then she pushes a button and a thing comes out of the wall and stucks his hand there, and then she jumps out, but like it's just like a little like flashbang with a little bit of smoke, and like the plane was gonna go down, so like what the fuck was the point of the exploding lip gloss?
I mean, it's a cool effect. It's a neat little moment to kind of be a surprise. I think that one works okay. You're right. It's a little over the top, but it's fun.
It's going to annoy me, but like if you don't care about that, whatever, it's fine.
As I mentioned a minute earlier, Donald Pleasance plays Blofeld, and spoiler alert, Blofeld comes back, and not only does he come back, he's in 2 more movies, and he's played by 2 more different actors. I think Donald Pleasance gives the definitive Blofeld performance in this movie. He's really good at doing the shadowy, very good at doing the, like, he seems like he's in control, but there's, like, this, like, unhinged quality.
Yeah. That was really good.
He does all of those classic villain things where he's, like, this is the price of failure, Bond, and it looks like he's going to shoot Bond, but instead he shoots his subordinate who failed. Like, that's a very, like, classic supervillain thing. Just, I think he does such a great job with it, and I'm kind of sad that they didn't get him back, because he's just so cool. The guys who do it later on are not bad. In fact, I'm going to talk about one of them here in a minute, but I love Donald Pleasance. I just think he does a terrific job.
He was holding on to that cat because towards the end, that cat, when shit started exploding, that cat was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
I felt bad for that cat.
There's one scene where he's like talking to his hench, and the cat is very clearly trying to like wriggle out of his grasp.
Yeah, the cat was having a stressful fucking time, and he probably blew up in that volcano as well. Sadly.
Aw, sad.
Very sad. Anyway, Aki is actually played by a woman named Akiko Wakabayashi.
Sure.
Apparently the character was supposed to be named Suki and was supposed to be played by the woman who plays Kissy Suzuki. But I guess because the woman who plays Kissy, her name is Mie Hama, she did not speak English as well as Akiko did. So they kind of flipped their roles because Akiko has a lot more speaking. And then Mie Hama, they ended up dubbing over her voice by...
Oh, is it our friend?
Nikki Vanderzil.
Hey.
Nikki Vanderzil once again dubbing over the Bond girl. It is good work if you can get it. Both of them were in Godzilla movies because they were both Toho stars. So Akiko Wakabayashi was in 2 Godzilla movies. She was in King Kong vs. Godzilla and then also in Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, which is the one that introduces King Ghidorah. That's badass and a movie that we're probably going to watch for this show. And then Mie Hama was also in King Kong vs. Godzilla. So, and then was in another King Kong movie as well, a Japanese one, I believe. So both of them kind of had a career doing this sort of thing. Tiger Tanaka was played by a guy named Tetsuro Tamba. Tetsuro Tamba was a very famous Japanese actor. He was known for being in like crime movies. Like that was his thing. He was like a detective a lot.
Oh, okay.
That was kind of his thing. Very big Japanese actor. Also, another weird thing about him was that he was like in a religious movement that happened in Japan around that time. So he was very religious, and he was like he was big about psychic powers. Apparently he believed in psychic phenomena. He had like a big interest in it. He wrote a bunch of books about them. Yeah. Kind of a very strange but interesting guy. Tons of films. Like he was in over 300 films.
Damn,
a wild career for that guy. I've not seen a lot of them because they're, Japanese language movies, and outside of Kurosawa and Godzilla films, I haven't watched a ton of Japanese language films, which is honestly on me. I should watch more of those because I'm very interested in a lot of those.
I've also seen House, that haunted house movie where the girls get killed by that house.
Oh, I've seen a few Japanese horror films too. Yeah, absolutely. Mr. Sato is played by this guy named Taro Shimada. Taro Shimada was born in Japan, but he was American. He was actually, in an internment camp during World War II.
Oh, shit.
He was in a bunch of American television. He was in Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Perry Mason, Batman, Hawaii Five-0, Mannix, $6 Million Man. He was on a lot of television back in those days. So if you were an American viewer, you would recognize that guy at the time. Helga Brandt, or number 11. Yes. She was played by Karen Dor. Karen Dor was a German actress. She was in a bunch of German films and a few British films, including one of the Fu Manchu films, with Christopher Lee. And she had a big role in a Hitchcock film called Topaz, which I've actually not seen.
Oh.
Yeah, she's kind of well known for that. Speaking of Fu Manchu, another actress in this film was in a Fu Manchu film. That was Sai Chin. Sai Chin played the Chinese girl that sort of helped Bond fake his death at the beginning.
Right. Well, she tried to kill him, and then they used that as an opportunity to...
Nope, she worked for them.
Oh, she did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Who
was she fooling then? The guys with the machine guns? Is that who they were fooling?
It was Cover. No, I think they all were working together. It's a little weird. I know.
What the G-dang heck?
But like I said, she was in a bunch of the James Bond, the Fu Manchu films with Christopher Lee. She also would return to the James Bond series. She would be in Casino Royale with Daniel Craig.
What?
40 years later, she was one of the card players in the scene where they're playing poker in Montenegro. Another credit that you, specifically, Hannah, might know her from.
Yeah.
She played Sandra Oh's mom on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, I'm looking at her IMDb.
Yes,
yeah.
recurring character. She was in Memoirs of a Geisha.
She was Aunt Wu.
She was Aunt Wu. I was just about to say that. How dare you? How dare you?
Aunt Wu in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah.
With the cat that's wanted by the Fire Nation. Isn't that who Aunt Wu is?
No, it was the fortune teller.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You're the dumb one.
Yeah, I am. Donovan, it is well established on this podcast. I don't know names, and I will never remember them.
Also, tons of stage acting. The most recent thing that she did was not most recent thing, but she was in the MCU. She did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Shang-Chi. And then she's currently, I think, in The Three Body Problem on Netflix.
Ooh,
Yeah,
cool.
crazy career. She's been in tons of stuff.
Wild, yeah.
Really, really cool.
Sorry, I just saw she was also in Titan AE.
Oh, nice. She was in
Yeah.
Titan AE?
Hell yeah, I love that movie.
Badass. The last actor I want to talk about is Charles Gray. Charles Gray plays Mr. Henderson, the guy who gets stabbed.
Yes.
Charles Gray is a pretty minor role in this. His probably most famous role outside of James Bond is he's the criminologist in Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Oh, that's why I know his face.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing, though. He's going to be in Diamonds Are Forever, 2 movies from now, James Bond, playing Blofeld.
Ha.
So, yeah, it's kind of confusing. I know. Yeah. There we go. And then obviously the MI6 crew is back. Lois Maxwell, Desmond Llewellyn, Bernard Lee, all doing a fantastic job, as always, in their minor roles. Love all of them.
He was also in Shock Treatment, the sequel to
Yes,
Rocky Horror
he was
Picture
playing
Show.
basically the same
same
character.
guy,
Yeah.
I think overall I liked this movie.
Yeah.
I can't place it too highly on my internal thing just because there's not a single female character here that feels like a whole person.
Aki gets close.
Aki gets close.
Yeah.
And then she gets dead.
And then she gets killed. Yeah.
So it's definitely it felt like they were having fun. Well, it felt like everybody who wasn't Sean Connery was having fun because Sean Connery was tired.
Yeah, you can kind of see that, can't you?
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's quippy, but there's less bite to the quips.
I agree.
And I don't know, this is the least it's ever felt like he cares about any of the women that he has sex with. It just seems like he's not even interested. He's going through the motions.
It's absolutely true. He's he makes the quip with the Chinese girl, and then he gets killed. And then, he dates Akiko and seems to like her. They sort of have a back and forth, and then she dies, and then 2 days later, he's trying to bang the other chick. It really does not feel like he is affected by the deaths of anybody.
He's just they get to her house, and he's like, I'm going to sleep, you're going to sleep over there, and I'm going to sleep over here. And he's like, but it's our honeymoon.
Yeah. It's really gross, honestly.
My guy, seducer? Isn't that what you're supposed to do with girls? What's wrong with you?
That doesn't really feel like a James Bond ploy. It seems like James Bond would be like, oh, well, your loss or something. But
yeah.
The fact that he just sort of was like, come on, is pretty...
On our honeymoon?
It's pretty weak.
But, everybody else seemed like they were having fun. Cat Adams seemed like he was, they gave him a stack of money and was like, go. And he was like, fuck yeah.
Make the coolest shit you've ever seen in your life. And he did.
And
those scenes were great.
It was really good.
I love all of them.
Yeah, it seems like everybody who's not Sean Connery is having a great time doing shit. Even the guy who plays Tanaka seems like he's having fun with it.
And what's interesting is that was kind of what people felt like at the time. The reviews at the time were kind of mixed,
Sure.
People sort of felt like Connery was phoning it in a little bit. You know, they maybe that's just because they knew he was frustrated with it, wasn't really enjoying it. That's where it goes. But people tended to think that this movie was not that good at the time. And the box office was fantastic. It made $111 million.
Okay. Yeah.
On a budget of 10. But that is less than the last two.
Oh.
It's more than the first two, but it's less than Goldfinger, and it's less than Thunderball, certainly. So, you know, maybe people were a little tired of James Bond at this point. Not very tired, but it was kind of on the downslope a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you have any reviews for us?
I am looking at some of them now. Roger Ebert apparently gave it 2.5 stars.
Yeah, he didn't like it.
Yeah, he said that it focused too much on the gadgets, which I don't necessarily agree with because I feel like other movies have focused more on the gadgets.
I agree with that, yeah.
Also, I don't feel like that's really a criticism because that feels like one of the fun things about the movie.
Yeah.
Is like the silly gadgets and the ridiculous nonsense that James Bond does to get into and out of bad situations.
Yeah.
So Time magazine was critical of the movie, and they said it has fallen victim to the same misfortune that once befell Frankenstein. There have been so many flamboyant imitations that the original looks like a copy, which is interesting, especially from like now, because we don't really like if you tried to make a Frankenstein movie now, it simply wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Like they tried to do that, like I Frankenstein, and also Frankenstein was in like the oh gosh, what's it?
You know that there's one
Helsing
there's
movie, yeah. And WB has been trying to do their whole like dark universe monster thing.
Well, I'm just saying, there's this Frankenstein movie coming out this summer with Oscar Isaac playing Victor Frankenstein. That's coming out this summer.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that's going to be like. We'll find out.
I mean, what studio is doing it? Do you know?
I'm gonna look it.
Because like if it's the similar kind of thing as with like Nosferatu, that could be good and fun and interesting. But if it's just like the dark universe nonsense.
Oh, it's Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, never mind. I'm on board.
Yeah. Oh shit. Guillermo del Toro. Mia Goth is in it. Obviously Oscar Isaac, Charles Dance, Christoph Waltz, David Bradley. Oh my god. Great cast.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in. I'm
yeah,
on
me
it. Sorry, back to
James Bond. So that same one said the effects are ineffective. The outer space sequence would be more appropriate in a grade school educational short entitled Our Amazing Universe, and the volcanic climax is a series of clumsy process shots that no one took the trouble to fix. Even Connery seems uncomfortable and fatigued.
I will say the volcano part looks really bad. I think the space stuff does not actually look that bad. I think it looks okay. It's not very, it's not amazing, but I think it looks fine. The volcano stuff looks really bad.
It's one of those hard things is like it's a little bit hard for me to gauge from now because I have the cultural context of all of the advances in CGI.
Yeah, you've seen Gravity.
Effects. Yeah, I've seen Gravity. I actually saw Gravity in 3D on accident. It was really good.
Yeah.
So like I don't really know what audiences at the time would have bought because like the car chase scenes that we can tell are clearly green screen, like that's something that audience at the time probably wouldn't think twice about. Like that's just how car chases go in movies. But I would agree that like the space stuff was kind of silly. Like when it started on space, I was like, James Bond isn't going to space. That's ridiculous. What are you talking about?
No, we got at least a few more movies before that happens.
And then there's also like in the shot in space, like you can it annoyed me so much. In the upper left hand corner of the screen, there's like a full spiral galaxy. You cannot see that from Earth.
No,
you can't see that. Not with the naked eye.
You can see the Milky Way, but it doesn't look like the whole Milky Way.
It's not even like an arm of the Milky Way. There's like a spiral galaxy.
Oh, it's like a separate spiral.
An exogalaxy.
No, you couldn't, like an Andromeda or something.
No, you cannot see that
you
from Earth.
Could not, no.
Not with the naked eye, at least.
Yeah.
So, like, I get what they're saying, but, like, it's a little bit hard for me to gauge that because I don't know what audiences would have bought it at the time.
Well, I think it's interesting that he says that imitations that the original looks like a copy because, to me, this is the James Bond film that most epitomizes and is the look of James Bond. Like, when I think of what James Bond looks like, it looks like this movie.
Yeah.
And so, it's interesting that they would have said, because after 5 movies, I could totally imagine somebody being like, okay, we've seen James Bond 4 times, but now that we've seen James Bond 25 times,
yeah,
that is, to me, the most James Bond. By the way, Hannah, you have now seen 20% of the James Bond films.
Yeah.
You don't sound very excited.
Yeah. I'm having a great time. I'm having fun talking to you about it. The actual process of watching the movie, I'm getting a little bit sleepy. It is kind of funny, like, looking at some of the reviews and them being like it's not as zippy, it's not as punchy. I'm like, I think it's more so. You and I clearly have different values of what zippy and punchy mean. And there's another one here. Clifford Terry of the Chicago Tribune. He said something about Roald Dahl's script is larded with sex-slanted jokes that are either pathetically feeble or sophomorically coarse. Hey, man. Yeah.
That's James Bond. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. What other Bond movies have you been watching?
Yeah.
In the last one, Domino was like, you have sharp eyes. And he's like, you should see how sharp my teeth are. Girl, what?
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
Yeah.
This movie, on retrospect, has had a kind of a mixed sort of response as well. You know,
sure.
It's not like Thunderball was beloved at the time, but kind of people soured on it. You know, and some of the early ones were mixed, but people have loved them because they're classics since then. This one was mixed when it came out, and it's still kind of mixed. Some people really like this one. Me, hi. I really like this one. I think it's obviously, I agree with all of the problems that you have with it. Do not get me wrong, but I still think it's fun. But a lot of people, you know, don't really like it. If you look at the tomato meter, which I have been using to kind of give a rough gauge, the tomato meter has this as 5th out of all of the ones that we have seen so far. So, last. It has it with a tomato meter score of 73%. For reference, 4 is Thunderball, and that's 85%. It's significantly less than Thunderball.
This is better than Thunderball.
I think it's way better than Thunderball. Now, that is the tomato meter score. The audience score, let's see what that one looks like. Rush with Love, Dr. No, Thunderball. It is also less, but the difference between that is much smaller. They had the audience score for Thunderball is 73, and the audience score for You Only Live Twice is 68. So it's closer. But I gotta say, I feel like, personally, I feel like that's a little harsh on the film. I understand why people don't like it as much. Don't get me wrong. I can totally understand the criticisms of this one compared to the previous ones. I can totally understand why somebody who really liked Thunderball or really liked From Russia with Love would not like this one as much.
Yeah, I agree. I'm trying to figure out what
your list is right
now.
Yeah, I personally, I have this, I think, wow. Do I like this better than Goldfinger? Maybe not. I think I'm going to hedge my bet and put this one second behind Goldfinger. But for me, it's Goldfinger, You Only Live Twice, and then From Russia with Love. That's kind of my top 3 right now. And Thunderball or Dr. No could go either way.
I'd put this at 3rd for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just because, like, again, giving Ken Adams however many millions of dollars that they did and saying, hey, go crazy.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot of favors for this film.
Yeah.
And, like, the fact that there's so many stuff in it that is so, like, culturally iconic that got, like, interpolated across other things that I deeply love is also doing this movie some favors. But there's not a single whole woman person in the whole movie.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad in my heart bones.
I mean, there's not really a whole lot of characters in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
yeah,
like
even like Tanaka, he's not really a guy. He's like a resource.
Yeah, he's got a few scenes where we talked about this. They wanted Toshiro Mifune.
Yes.
And I wonder if Toshiro Mifune would have brought some more like a different kind of thing to this, because this podcast stands Toshiro Mifune. Those thighs, man.
Yeah, we do.
Hannah's got, like, the most wistful expression right now.
Toshiro Mifune is so good.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor, very physical actor. Like, he just brings so much vitality to every, like, movie he's ever been in.
It is to this film's detriment that he is not in it, but also perhaps to his like personal whatever.
If he had
personal honor,
if he had said some of the gross things that Tetsuro Tamba did, like maybe we would feel
different about him,
different about Mifune.
His career would have gone a different direction for a while.
Yeah, so I don't know. But I think this is maybe Goldfinger is probably more influential to the cultural idea of James Bond, but I think that this could arguably be the second most important to the idea of James Bond.
Yeah, I can see that.
Pop culture. And it also brought to Western audiences the concept of the ninja.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure it had existed to some extent before, but this really made it very pop culture relevant. People know what a ninja is. And then kind of combined with the sort of popularity of the 70s kung fu movies and stuff like that, that really brings the the modern idea of ninja and martial arts to the Western audience, to American audiences.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us this week.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Absolutely. Well, you only live twice. Yolt, as one might say.
What the fuck did you just say?
Yolt. It's like YOLO, but...
Oh. No. No one says that.
No. Not yet. Can we get Drake to make that one popular?
No,
how's Drake's popularity doing these days, Hannah?
You can't get Drake to do anything popular currently.
Yeah?
It's bad. It's in the toilet. He keeps trying to sue people, and it's not working because he's just mad, so he keeps trying to sue people about it.
Huh. Weird. Interesting. Wonder why that is.
We may never know.
Surely
there wasn't a giant culture-spanning fucking Super Bowl show about it.
Yeah, there absolutely was not. But next time, we're going to watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service with a different actor playing James Bond.
I was actually going to ask you about that. So, Sean Connery only signed up for 5 movies. At the end of this one, they're like, James Bond will return in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Did they already know that he was absolutely not coming back? They weren't going to negotiate him in anything?
He had announced during the making of this film that he was not going to do anymore.
Okay,
so they were already looking for another person.
So they knew that they had to recast.
They absolutely did.
And this one came out in 1967.
This one came out in 1967.
When does the next one come out?
The next one comes out in 1969.
Okay, so they had to do a bit of a casting process. I was going to say, if they fucking turn this around again in 1 year, that would be fucking insane.
Yeah. The every single year James Bond thing does not happen much after this. Occasionally it does, but it does not really happen.
The way studios work changed, so you can't do that anymore.
Yes. We'll talk about the casting call for the new James Bond next time.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah. By the way that George Lazenby gets hired to be James Bond is among the dumbest stories I've ever told.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We're going to have fun.
Is this what you were freaking out about the other day when you were writing the script?
Kind of a little bit,
Hell yeah.
This and something else. All right. Well, see you next time. Toodaloo. Thanks for listening. You can find us at mythingyourthing.com or at mythingyourthingpod on social media. Thanks to RK Maroon for letting us use their song Macaroni Art from the EP You Can't Eat Horses. You can get it at rkmaroon.bandcamp.com. If you have a thing you think we should talk about, email us at mythingyourthingpod@gmail.com, and maybe that could be our thing.